Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Thank you all for all of you all who are chiming in on our Facebook stream. I'm just going to give you guys a moment to chime in, to just continue chiming in. We are going to start shortly. Welcome to Straight Talk with Wendy. Just keep chiming in, share the live, share the live, share the live. We are going to be speaking with our guest shortly. Just keep sharing the live, share the live. This is Straight Talk with Wendy. Just keep sharing the live. Keep sharing the live. Welcome, 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 everyone. Tobago is in the house already. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm seeing Trinidad and Tobago. I am seeing some interesting individuals. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. I need to start to acknowledge my dignitaries early. I would like to acknowledge Superintendent Claire Guy Allen from the Gender Based Violence Unit and Child Protection Unit. Thank you so much for chiming in. Welcome, Giselle Simon Francis, welcome. Miss Cruikshank, welcome. Everybody just keep chiming in. Keep chiming in. Our guest is backstage. Our guest is ready. I just want to encourage you all to share the live. Share the live. Keep chiming in. You are in for an amazing, amazing, powerful, long-awaited interview. So many people have been messaging me about this interview. Some have even sent in questions. Questions have been coming in all week, but let's see how it goes. We have an hour and 15 minutes with our special guest. I just want you all to keep chiming in. Welcome, Glenroy. Thank you so much. Welcome, Mr. Dennis. Come on in. Come on in. We will be starting in 1 minute. So come on in. Keep chiming in. Keep chiming in. This is going to be an amazing interview. Long awaited. Long awaited. Keep chiming in, Mr. Francis. Welcome. Sham, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Kern, Herrera, everyone who's chiming in, come on in. We are going to start shortly. We are going to start shortly. So I just want to continue to keep you all abreast with what is happening. Keep chiming in, keep chiming in, keep chiming in. And we are getting ready to start. Mr. Dennis, welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. We are going to start. I'll be introducing my guests shortly.
We have Watson Duke today, and their blood run through his vein. Tobago, can you see the promised land? Oh.
We are ready.
We have Watson Duke today, and their blood run through his vein. Tobago, can you see the promised land? Oh.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, well, well. Well, well, well. Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon I have an amazing guest with me, and I would like to take this opportunity to introduce this guest the best way I know how. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wendy H. Lewis. I am your host for this afternoon, and the person I would like to introduce to you has an LLM in employment law from the University of Leicester in the United Kingdom. They have studied public sector reform at the International Training Center at the International Labour Organization in Italy. Pay and equity training at the Public Administration International University in London, quality technology training at the University of the West Indies, and also attended the MIC Institute of Technology. You may know him as the president of the Public Services Association. Some may know him as the political leader of the Progressive Democratic Patriots. Some may know him as a friend, a family member, a fellow Tobagonian. Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me none other than Mr. Watson Duke. A pleasant good afternoon to you, sir. You need to unmute for me and unmute for your audience.
Good afternoon, Wendy. It's a pleasure for you having me, and I'm thankful to your audience for having me too. I know this is a very important show. I've heard rave reviews about it,
Is
And
that
so when
right?
they heard I would be here, I was excited, and I am excited to be
Thank
here.
you so much for agreeing to be a part of this program. And Mr. Duke, I want to get right into it because there's so much I want to discuss. The Public Services Association is it's the largest, most powerful trade union representing over 80,000 workers from over 100 public service organizations in Trinidad and Tobago. Your passion for people is undeniable. How long have you been a member of the PSA and what urged you to vie for presidency in the first instance?
I have been a member of the PSA since 1995, so that will be a very long time. Right. And it was out of the crucibles of life that I think my character was formed and my desire to lead became a reality. I was being challenged at the WASA where I worked just as a representative. I was a representative there, and I was being challenged insofar as not being allowed to do the duties I was elected to do. And being challenged, I decided, all right, well, what is the better way to represent people than to contest an election? And if I'm selected at that level, it means therefore I'm accepted by the wider majority, and then I could lead. So I did not just fight and come through the back door. I came through the front door. I came through with dignity. I came through an election. It wasn't like an overthrow or some type of foul or surreptitious way I took power. I took power the legitimate way through an election, and that took place in 2009, making me the oldest president or the longest serving president of the PSA at this point in time.
Wow, well, congratulations on that thus far. How does the union support the development of the public service in terms of the capacity of officers?
All right, well, it is riveted and rooted in our constitution, Wendy. It says in our constitution that we are to have a cordial relationship insofar with the employer, which means we should try to solve things as in a friendly, amicable, non-confrontational manner as far as possible the employer, and we should try definitely to improve the service generally. These are core objectives of the PSA's constitution, and I must say I'm happy to be part of a constitution that sees improving the service generally as a core objective.
Awesome, thank you so much. What is the union's position with regard to the government's decision to fast track digitization? Are you at the table at this discussion? Because this would have some sort of effect on jobs, making them redundant.
Well, we say we are not looking at it negatively. However, we are quite concerned about the fact that the government is unable to walk with the foot soldiers, but they're attempting to run with the horsemen. We feel it's an over-ambitious exercise. It's an exercise that will bear nothing but futility. And so we are not worried about it because it's a pie-in-the-sky dream. You see, simple things like a security camera hanging on a lamppost, hanging on a street corner to observe areas of concern for the government. Those cameras have been allowed to become defunct, unworkable, unmonitored. If you can't do some things like that, which is the first priority for government, is security. If a government doesn't make security its first issue, then the government will be overthrown. And I'm saying the government doesn't make anything a priority in this country more than mobile land and bacchanal and this kind of stuff, you know what I mean? So we don't see that as becoming a real important issue in the mind of the government, but definitely we would want to see progress commensurate with the progress of the world in Trinidad and Tobago.
Are you considering an overthrow?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, I was charged with sedition, and I was quite awestruck like you. I was like, me? I was like, me? I was wondering about that, but I'm not interested in those things. I only want power the legitimate way, through an electoral process.
Beautiful. When we're going to save that bit for coming down to the end, I'm saving the best for last.
Right.
The government has done a lot to ensure that workers are in good office accommodation in terms of the government office campus, the waterfront, and I know there's still some work to be done. What do you understand about the revenue situation in the country compared to 2010 to 2015, and now we're in 2021? In your opinion, how has the revenue line behaved?
Well, there's a lot of pillage taking place at the government's level, or stealing taking place at the government level. Projects are being built, and then somewhere along the line they recognize, oops, wasn't right. They spent over $500,000 restoring the Red House that couldn't build a whole new building. And then to have the gate fall on a security officer nearly kill him, that's wasting money. Have the Red House leaking, that's wasting money. They spent $500 million again. So $500 million to build the Red House, it's leaking, and the gate is falling and killing people. Then they spent $500 million again building a bypass on the highway. And when a truck is passing, the truck nearly destroyed the bridge because it's too low for the truck to pass under. And so we are saying they're spending money without rhyme and reason. They're just spending money as if it is the thing to do, the thing to do, or a lot of vulgar projects. So if we're talking money, we're talking about spending the money that matters most. And a lot of the money has not been spent on people, even though people is the most important team in the government Vision 2030 plan. People is number one. And for the last 8 years or 9 years, there have been nothing at all to improve the salaries of workers. And the cost of living has gone up. Things have gotten more difficult. And the government keeps piling it on. They're saying, take some more, take some more, take some more. Even this work from home situation worries me. How can a parent who never had internet before now afford internet? And it's not a choice. You must afford it simply because your job depends on it. They're telling you to work from home, and they're not giving you any technological allowance, technological package to take home. Your children's schoolwork depend upon it. There's no communication allowance. And so the government is doing nothing to assist people in living and leading better lives. When you're interested in building an economy, you understand that people have a role, and what you will do is try to at least give people some type of means that they can maintain and improve their standard of living, thereby increasing domestic consumption and allowing more money to be spent right in the neighborhood and the neck of society that matters most.
Well, so is it fair to say that the government is doing nothing, or is it that they're not doing enough?
Well, they're doing something. They're playing the fool, and that's a great thing they're doing, because those who are looking are able to make the conclusion quite succinctly that they are playing the fool. They have so much time, such a grand opportunity. In a crisis, people are looking for a leader who is sensitive to their needs. In a crisis, people are looking for someone with a way. Someone recently reminded me that leaders are dealers in hope, not hopelessness. Leaders don't bully people. They try to convince them, and they take time and they go to great lengths trying to convince them. They're not hasty to make decisions. They're slow. And I think we are led by a country or by a government that does not know what hope is, what hopelessness. They don't know what patience is, how it is to use words to win people over. What they know is force, absolute force.
What are the gaps would you fill given the chance? Or the opportunity, rather. Yeah, the gaps that you've just described, what would you prioritize given the opportunity?
Well, first of all, I would say that the time has come, Sister Wendy, when the people must be led by a government of the people, a government that comes out of the people, by the people, and for the people. That government is absent today, but it would come the day Trinidad and Tobago look into themselves and see that the people who are offering themselves must have a history. They must go into people's history and look at where they came from, right? On whose behalf they are governing. And at that point in time, people will fill the gap. I mean, I have offered myself in Tobago, offered a political organization, and the people are moving to give us that opportunity in Tobago to fill that gap. I'm hoping that one day I will offer myself and my team in Trinidad, and the people in Trinidad is going to give us a chance to fill that gap. This call for leadership with extremely great sensitivity. We cannot continue to divide our society. We cannot continue to bully people and to use these backward tactics of controlling people and think it's cute. We have to get down in the highways and the byways and meet people and solve issues. So much person going hungry. So much person going hungry. You go to hospital, there's not even medication there. And yet billions have been spent every year on contracts. We have a lot of highfalutin people in society buying up land, taking up land, and doing whatever they want in society. And the poor man can't even have a mattress to lie down on. He can't even afford a bed. He can't even fix his roof. But yet there's some place called social services, where the services only go towards party supporters, party hacks, and not those who need it the most.
Wow. I wanna save the pandemic for a little later. What is the union's position on customer service improvements, modernization of services, and changes in attitudes in the public service?
The union is all for it. We believe that our service must be as modern as our neighbors, and our neighbors' service should be as modern as the rest of the world. We cannot be lagging behind while the rest of the world is moving forward. We love to go abroad and we love to see the service, and we complain. And in fact, we praise the service abroad. But when we come back home, we complain. And I'm saying that we must fix here first. Dance a yard before dance abroad. And so we hold the view in the PSA, definitely, that service is of the greatest importance among all things. Service is number one and priority. However, I say again, the government of the day is not interested in service. Once you're interested in service, the first thing you're going to do is to create an avenue for persons to be trained. Every single public servant or public sector worker ought to be trained before he or she is even allowed to come on to working in a frontline position. Therefore, there's a place called the Public Service Training Academy that is now abandoned down in Shagamas, the place for bats and gargoyles and jumbies and zombies. That's where they have it down there as. No one is going down there to be trained again. You're supposed to have a human resource department in every organization, one where persons are evaluated quarterly and they are trained commensurate with the evaluation to be on the best performing edge. And they're not sending persons to train. Everyone is getting a grade A. So if everyone is getting a good grade and persons are not being trained, they're rather being allowed, they're rather forced to learn the work from the person they're sitting next to, the person they're working with, that means the grade is going down and down and down. We ought to have a gold standard for a clerk, for an administrator, for a PS. What are the gold standards? Where are the manuals? Where they do it right the first time books? We have to go back to that period and place emphasis on training and on resourcing these persons with the right type of resources to get the job done. Sometimes you train them, we don't have the resources to get the job done. Like we are hearing now, WASA workers don't even have backhoe because government not paying the equipment workers. So one guy told me he had to resort to a pickaxe to put down a new main for someone, well, a new connection for someone. And so you have to resource your people before we start talking quality, before we start talking standards. You must train your people. In other words, give them every single thing, sit with them and go through the key performance indicators. Ensure they have the resources, they know how to get it done. And then you monitor them over a period of time, sympathetically, yet systematically, you have to do it.
So is it that you're saying that there isn't that sort of structure currently? No monitoring, no evaluation, no appraisal system, no performance reviews. Is that what you're saying is absent currently?
And it is by design and by desire. Whenever this government here, who's currently occupying the corridors of power, whenever they want to spend money or get some type of free loan or easy loan, they allow an era of governance to fall freely by the demand of gravity to the ground. And they will tell you that this thing isn't working. And when it falls to the ground, they say, look, we have to fix it. Allow me to spend some money and get it right. And they will go out, give their friends it, see they're creating a new organization. At the end of the day, the organization is new, but the people who are at the helm, habits are old, it's thieving, it's bankrupt, it's so corrupt that you can't get nothing out of it. And I asked a question today, did NHA that convert to HTC improve? Answer is no. Did the Ministry of Health that transformed into the regional health authorities, 5 of them, from one Ministry of Health was broken up into 5 regional health authorities. Are those RHAs working? The answer is no. It's not performing. They're still complaining. We can go to the General Post Office. The General Post Office that was so much burden to society. He said, let's get rid of it. Let's create TT Post. Is TT Post solving the problems? No. And we could go on and on and on and on. And the government is going back to the same thing over and over again. Instead of fixing the root causes, they are not doing that. Instead of spending money that matters, they are not doing that. They're spending money so the thing will fail and starving the organization of resources.
Wasn't these are very serious allegations?
Well, I just gave you the evidence. The proof is in the pudding. When you look at TT Post, is TT Post any better off than the General Post Office? And we are saying, yes, there is movement. Yes, there is signage that says things change. They just destroyed Petrotrin to create Heritage Petroleum. Is it any better? The answer is no. Everything this government is smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors, games. And
do you
is getting
go ahead, sorry.
Society is getting fed up of that. That's why they want a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. They're not looking for a daddy government to boss them around and tell them where to sit down, where to stand up and shut your mouth. They're not looking for that.
What is your take on Petrotrin? Seeing that you mentioned Petrotrin, do you think that the shutting down or closing down of Petrotrin could have been avoided or things could have been done differently? What is your take?
Well, I would say Petrotrin is a government organization, and it was a government organization, and it just didn't arrive there overnight. That was something that was ongoing for quite a long time. The current government have had several chances to govern, and they did not govern. So when they are throwing their hands up in the air and say, look at what's happening, as if it's something new to them, they aided and abetted. The great Malcolm Jones, who died, he spent lots of money, wasting money, was in court, and they came and they let him off the hook. So at the end of the day, they are the authors of confusion in the public sector system, and they are responsible. They must hold themselves accountable and hold themselves guilty, not guiltless. They asked for the job and they have failed.
What is the PSA's involvement with the installation of a modern job evaluation and compensation system in the civil service? I read an article where you are involved. Is that correct? And are you sitting at the table? Are you part of the discussion, or are you just being informed?
Well, we are part of it. We are part of it. How much we are involved is still something we are trying to figure out. Because here we are sitting with the CPO. The CPO is being guided by PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Yes.
And neither of them knows what they're doing. They're not listening to anybody either. They're coming to us with some fictitious ideas, which we can definitely discover, and we are pointing out to them. And they're playing games back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm going to get into it here, but I'll say to you, they lack the self-knowledge. In other words, know thyself. They do not know their capabilities and their inabilities or deficiencies. So we are hoping still that we may be able to salvage this conversation and we are having with them, and we would be able to bring it to some fruition. But it seems as if before we have begun, they have already written the conclusion and the end of the job evaluation, which we are saying cannot be a preconceived notion.
So let me switch across to our Facebook audience before they kill me, because they are messaging fast and furious.
Allow them please to comment.
Yeah, so firstly, greetings to my Tobago counterpart, Mr. Duke. This is from Superintendent Claire Guy Allen, the head of the Gender-Based Violence Unit and the Child Protection Unit. We have Jennifer Frederick is saying, I guess that we have sunk so low as a society that while in other developed societies where officials resign because of allegations, okay, that I'm not even going to repeat that. Thank you so much. Apparently we look lovely. Apparently we look well. Greetings, everyone. Elsa, PSA Trinbago, your staff is on board. Giselle, Macmillan, Adriana Codringtons, the Quashis, a whole lot of people online. So I want to get into the bit that caused all these people, I know this is why they came out this afternoon to hear this bit of the discussion. We are in the middle of a pandemic that nobody planned for, nobody expected, but it's here and it is what it is. I personally did not expect it to still be around, but again, it is what it is. We have medical experts that are saying, that are recommending that the population be vaccinated. And I want to separate the discussion from the workers to the children. I want to deal with the children separately. Yeah. So we have medical experts that are saying, vaccinate to operate. Vaccinate to operate, no jab, no job. And that has been the mandate. And we have employers that are now saying to employees, if you are not vaccinated, don't come back to work. Yet, mandatory vaccination is not in legislation. Give me your take on this, please.
Well, this is a very broad topic. It's as broad as this, wide as it is deep. Its dimensions just inconceivable. Yeah. Never get the bottom of this whole COVID fiasco. But I will tell you from my viewpoint, and my viewpoint is based on the literature I've read. This COVID vaccine is something that we need to be very careful of. And I choose my words carefully, very carefully. It's the first time in modern history that a vaccine is being promulgated, being made public. A vaccine is being promoted. A vaccine is being endorsed by the Food and Drug Administration, by the World Health Organization. And yet the vaccine is not doing what it was supposed to do. A vaccine has one single rule. I'm going to put it to you quite clearly. All vaccines have one single rule. All vaccines' role is to act as a silver bullet. A silver bullet is a proverbial term used as a bullet that will stop anything coming its way. Yes. So once you use that vaccine, it's like clack, clack, silver bullet, bow, it stops the virus. So if you have mumps and you take the vaccine for mumps, no mumps could take you. You have measles, you take the vaccine for measles, can't trouble you. Correct. You have yellow fever, you take the vaccine for that, can't affect you. So whatever is the virus of the day, the vaccine's role is to prevent it from affecting and infecting those who carry the vaccine in their DNA or in their body. And so we have had many vaccines throughout the years, and all vaccines carries risk. So here comes the second part of the question. There is something called a benefit to risk ratio, which is the end game of all vaccines. When it is done, okay, it's done. They look at quality, the quality of the manufacturing, the consistency of it. If that's good, they see where it's manufacturing, it's okay, that's good. We'll go with that. Some place, I think it's Argentina, they put a hold on a shipment of Sinovac, I heard, because they say they're looking at the manufacturing quality. It was manufactured in a lab that may be questionable. So quality is important. Then they look at efficacy. How effective is this thing here? Is it doing what it was supposed to do? Is it the silver bullet that we want? Wow, that will stop the virus. Has any of the COVID-19 vaccines stopped the virus? The answer is no. And science will tell you the answer is no. Can any of the COVID-19 vaccine prevent the virus? The answer is no. And science will tell you the answer is no. That if they can't prevent the virus, if they can't stop the spread of the virus, how come our standards have become mediocre, where mediocre is now deemed as A class? Where are we going with this? Is it that in the face of knowledge, we are ignorant? We are a world where knowledge is striving. It has surpassed the so-called knowledge age that was some years ago. We live in an age now where you could ask Brixby anything. You could ask your phone anything and it answers you. Ask them, what is the age of Donald Trump? I say, he is XYZ. Ask them, who is Watson Jew? It's going to tell you that. It will type for you. We live in an age of artificial intelligence. We have gone past the age of knowledge. So we have so much knowledge, and we are supporting a world that is telling us mediocrity is now the zenith of our performance. It's now the top of our, I reject that. I will stand alone. I will blow my trumpet, and I will say, I'm not taking that vaccine. That vaccine is no proper vaccine. It's a mediocre vaccine. It's a backwater, back class, second class, third class vaccine. And any government that try to force this upon a nation is a backward government, and they have to be some part of some underworld gang and can't be any first world country, simply because you are forcing something that has not yet satisfied the basic threshold for a vaccine. A vaccine is a silver bullet. Vaccine stops the virus, prevents it. Now we are telling people to take the vaccine and let's vaccinate to operate. All these stupid slogans means nothing to me. No job, no job. But yet countries are backpedaling. So for instance, what we have a whole nation called France saying, hey, if you don't get the vaccine, you can't go cinema, you can't go here. We have a little state in America called Florida. Same F, France, Florida, saying, hey, any public organization that says you have to vaccinate in order to come or enjoy the service or the benefit to work there, whatever, we are going to fine them $5,000. They are saying that. While we have the whole world, first-class nations, saying to people that the thing is working, we have Israel, a little small country named Israel, saying the fourth jab may become necessary because they have gone past the second jab. They have gotten the third jab, and they're saying a fourth jab of the vaccine may become necessary to prevent the spread of variants. When you overdose on a vaccine, what are the side effects? Could anybody in science tell me? Anybody in science tell me what will happen to us 4 years from now, those who have taken the jab? Could Scientology answer the question? The answer is no. But yet we are forcing people, we are using people who are supposed to be schooled to abuse the ignorant. But there's something called common sense, something called gut feelings. And a lot of us in society, we have not been to those schools that we can't pronounce. We have not matriculated from those schools. But we are able to say, see that? I don't like how that sounded. How could a fully vaccinated person suffer with COVID? How could a fully vaccinated person die from COVID? It's not supposed to happen. This virus or this vaccine is allowing people to suffer from heart disease, okay, respiratory problems. It's causing people to die. The only thing this vaccine is not doing is saving lives. And it's not saving lives. Listen to me, there are over 200 and something million persons with who would have gotten the virus already and have survived. Right? Well, would have gotten the virus and put it that way. About 5 million have died. You know that the amount of children that suffer from pneumonia and different type of respiratory disease that die from that when the year comes surpasses 5 million, but surpasses. Let me change the question. Do you know that hunger and hunger-related illnesses kill 8 million people per year, last year? 8 million people. So why are we dealing with hunger? Is hunger something that we can solve? We can solve hunger. There are arable lands throughout the world. There are so many big groceries throughout the world. Every place have a government. They have a chief, they have a king, they have something on top of them to regulate food and create balance, which is the role of those who lead a society to create a kind of a balanced society, social justice. Where is that? But this little COVID, we are killing 1 and 2 people. The majority of people is living 95%. Well, put it differently. If 5 million persons die from COVID, but over 200 million persons have lived with it without the vaccine, then more persons, almost 98%, I could say, of the persons who have had COVID have been able to live. All right? This is not the Spanish flu that killed 50 million people. No. Come on. Why is the media giving all these favorable reviews to these vaccines that are not done, or some backward, low-key vaccines? We don't even know what will happen in 5 years' time, what side effects will come up. They're still learning it. Why are they forcing it? Why? Could you answer that question for me? Could I ask the interviewer a question? Why are they forcing the vaccine on us?
No, I would not be able to answer why the vaccine is being forced, because I tend to share some of your views. I will publicly state I am not vaccinated and I have zero intention of getting vaccinated, but that is my personal view.
Thank you.
One of the things that you've mentioned, I mean, we had Dr. Batson here about 3 weeks ago, and one of the things he said that struck home with a lot of the viewers was that the word vaccine is exactly what you've just described in a different way. It's supposed to be a silver bullet to stop something or prevent something. That's the term vaccine. And therefore, if when you take 1, you have to take 2. If you take 2, you have to take 3. If you take 3, you have to take 4. If you take 4, you still have to wear the mask. You still have to this, you still have to that. Then it is not a vaccine.
A vaccine. A hoax.
But the other thing that you said that I have been discussing far and wide is we have access to information. Everything is a Google away. Everything is a Google away. So is it that we're a population that we're refusing to educate ourselves? Because we cannot depend on the government, you cannot depend on your employer, you cannot be dependent on all these people. You have to have some form of personal ambition to want to know more. I wanted to know more. I have searched far and wide. One of my very good friends is a doctor, and I probably asked him every question under the sun to the point where I dragged him on straight, so come talk to the people. And we share in the similar views. So now that we're there, let's talk about these employers that are saying to workers, if they're not saying that the vaccine is mandatory. However, if you do not take the vaccine, you cannot come to work.
It really worries me, confuffles me when I think of human inhumanity to humans. And I'm asking myself, how could human beings who have looked into the face of their co-workers for so long, these same co-workers would have built their businesses, would have prevent pillaging, would have prevent break-ins, would have prevent the business from going to the ground. These workers came out during last year when nobody was working and they kept the business going. How could they turn on these workers now and put them in a position whereby if they do not vaccinate, they cannot work? To me, it's really man's inhumanity to man. It's worrisome that someone would want to tell someone, you can't feed your family, you can't pay your bills, you can't pay your rent if you don't take a vaccine. And they know the vaccine is not working. I'm proud to say that such evil mandates are not taking place in the public service. We have search high, we have search low. It's not taking place in the public service. We are not going to tolerate it at all. We're going to move fast, we're going to move hard on that. So the government, while they are playing fast and loose and crazy, they are not coming to the public service where I lead with that. It's happening to the private sector, and I continue to call persons from the private sector, those who are suffering, those who are heartbroken because they have a complex where damn if you do, damn if you don't. You know, we're saying, come to the PSA, we will represent you. Don't worry about nothing, we will take care of you. We want the fight. We will buy the fight. Mhm. You just get in touch with us and let's deal with that, with those issues for you.
What are the human rights laws concerning this matter?
Well, the human rights laws, there are many, they are varied, they are wide, but fundamentally, the laws are based around in the inadequacy of the vaccine of themselves, right? We have to stop speaking about vaccines and say COVID vaccine because vaccines are generally good, right? They work,
Yes.
they stop something, they become the silver bullet that we long for. Bow, it stops it. But COVID vaccines are not working. And so when someone asks you to take a COVID vaccine and they demand it of you, then you could take them to court and ask them to prove it. Prove that this vaccine is working. The science is there, the knowledge is there, and there's more information to disprove that these vaccines are not working. So you could prove that these vaccines are not working. So they have no case that they could use to mandate against you. They could only mandate the vaccine if the vaccine is working and they want to create a level of public safety, right? So therefore, the government will take its mandate, it has on the people and say, all right, we have to create the safety, the public comes first. So where this vaccine works, you have to go with it. But the vaccine is not working. There is no place, there's no island, no country in the world that has become the gold standard of bringing this thing under the control. I want them to show me the country that could now operate because they vaccinate. Show me that gold standard country. I want to travel there. I will take the vaccine, Wendy, and I will go there just to see that country. Show me the country that could now operate because they vaccinate. Show me.
Wow.
Singapore has one of the highest vaccination rate in the entire world. And they still can't operate as they want in Singapore. They still have to wear masks. People still getting the virus with the vaccine. So this thing is a hoax, a big, big hoax. And I will tell you, you and I will turn out to be right. And we will look back with a level of care for those who have taken the vaccine and are now on the losing end because they would have given up their rights to fight against the government. In that document they give you, they ask you, do you understand everything? And if you understand everything, you square and sign the vaccine. Sign to say taking the vaccine. So you are signing to become part of a big clinical trial, something you never intend to. You really want to be free. You really want to return society to normal. But let's face it, society is now inside your house where you could go without the mask. Outside is a different type of world. It's dangerous. And you have to be safe.
One of the things I heard the Honorable Prime Minister mention at a recent press conference is that he is disappointed in the vaccination rate of Tobago. What is Tobago saying?
Tobagonians have no confidence in the Prime Minister, right? They reject him completely. He's rejected in Tobago. And he knows that. This is why he's trying to injure their feelings and their sense of self-esteem by saying they are uncooperative. He was the one who threatened Tobagonians that if they vote a particular way, he will not forgive them. They will get another pass. He have been spending a lot of time in Tobago, obviously minding his sheep. Yeah. Came across every cabinet saying he's having some type of a cabinet meeting, but to what aim? What the cabinet? What did they achieve in Tobago? Is it a holiday? Someone played some music that came blasting from their place. If I hear soca after 9 o'clock, if I hear music blasting, because Tobago people live close. It's a hilly island where if you think your house high, wait until the man on top of the house, on top of the hill, look out of his house, it's straight in your house. And the person sent a video to me because it's straight over into the residence. And you see lights like Christmas, blinky lights, and I hear the kind of ferocious and dancehall music coming across there. But that's what they're doing. That's the level of governance. They tell us to control ourselves while they're living it up and not giving it up. How many of them are driving Tidas? They're driving some big engine cars. When you hear the tax off of these cars, it's some $500,000 they are getting on tax off. You know, that could give you a nice little house, Wendy. You know how much persons will be relieved with medication, decent surgery if they get $500,000? That's tax off their vehicles. Who pays for that tax? We, the people. So they have been denying us things that they have been inviting and serenading themselves with. And I'm saying, no, no, no. Tobagonians are not fooled. Tobagonians now have a leader. They now have a political organization. And Tobagonians believe in the progressive democratic patriots, of which I'm leader. And they have information. They're standing with their leader. And I'm standing with them. That's government by the people, of the people, and for the people.
Wow. I want to quote Principal Medical Officer, Dr. Marian Abdul Richard, stated that a worrying trend is being observed where increasing numbers of children are being hospitalized with COVID-19. She shared that 10 children are currently hospitalized, with 8 at the ward level, 1 at the HU level, and 1 at the ICU level. And then Minister Dayal Singh stated, he announced that 25% of the eligible school population have been vaccinated to date. However, the daily number of children being vaccinated has decreased, and he is now appealing to parents to take advantage of the opportunity to get their children vaccinated. I want to deal with Minister Dayal Singh a bit first. I want to come to October business afterwards. So
I think his name says who he is, delicing. Delicing, I mean. How could you say to us, 25% of the population, the school population is vaccinated? How much people go to school in a year? Universities, I look at universities, all these people. Preschool,
right.
What's the number? Is it 20,000, 30,000? What's the real number? How do we know? When last a census was done on those things, and what information are we quoting from? We should say that. You should say, well, look, the last census done on schools was done in the year 2020, and we have had X amount of preschool, X amount of primary, X amount of secondary, X amount of tertiary education. He's not coming with that. He cannot disaggregate information. He just lump it and clump it and say to us 25%, and then say it is slow. What is slow? Or what is fast? Before you could know fast, before you could know slow, you must know what is fast. Because slow is based on an expectation. And an expectation is based on the potential of a flow. So what is the flow? Tell us, what is the flow? They're not giving us any information in it. They're not disaggregating the thing. They're just lumping and clumping the thing together and just talking these big, gigantic figures and giving us, when they want, they could justify a cost on us and say, bring all the children to get vaccinated, or else give it to them.
Yeah.
Or it's because of all you, the thing spreading. They could justify anything they want. Someone once told me that as a drunken man will use a pole to steady himself, so does a politician use statistics to steady himself. Whenever they are in trouble, they always pull statistics and they manipulate the figures. But where are the census? Show us the census. Go to CSO, pull the figures up. Are those figures published? In some countries, you can see those figures on the website of the statistics office. Here, you're not seeing that. Those are hidden. You have to wait until central bank come up with something, or wait until the government says something. But the government maths are not even right. You ever heard the prime minister try to divide and say how much vaccines are given out, and half of that equal to how much? The maths is just deplorable. And that's real. That's what's real, sister. That's not no joke. I'm not making it up. You ever hear them divide? So I don't know how, if they can't divide and they can't add, how come they could say to us as a nation, we must have trusts in their mathematical formulas and how they arrive at certain things? I'm saying no to that.
Wow. One of the things the Prime Minister said on Saturday, actually yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, or recently rather. He announced that from October 1st, face-to-face schooling will be available, but only for vaccinated children in forms 4 to 6. He also indicated that these children will be required to be fully vaccinated, therefore needing to receive their second dose by September 14th to 17th. Now, if parents share our views in terms of, we don't have enough information, I don't want to take this vaccine, obviously, my child is not taking the vaccine. what does that do to the educational system in terms of the children being educated? Because there's a big difference between going to school online and being able to share space with your friends, be interactive with your teacher, etc. What is your take on this? This is mandatory now. For you to enter a classroom, you must be vaccinated.
And here's where the legal minds of our country have
Mhm.
fallen asleep. They are, ooh, ouch. But it seems to me they're not aggressive enough to push the government back. There are laws in this country that prevents the government from doing whatsoever it wants. Wendy, I did a little bit of law, put a little bit of law, all right? And I'll tell you what the government is relying upon to bully our society is something called public health regulations. Anybody who do a basic O levels law or any advanced law, they will tell you that there are primary laws and secondary laws. Primary laws are laws that are foundational. Yeah.
Yes.
And there are secondary laws from which they make, well, that comes out of primary laws. In this case, primary laws are like the Occupational Safety and Health Act. That places a responsibility upon every employer to protect his or her employees. You must protect them, mandated to, you have to. So when coming to employers furnishing employees with masks, hand sanitizer, that's a must. You don't have to bring no hand sanitizers from home, no mask from home. The employer must provide you with that. They must, by law, they have and bound to provide you with that. There are certain laws again too that says sickness in the workplace is called occupational sickness. And as such, if that arises in the workplace, the employer has to let the employees know and then protect all the employees. I'm not certain that we have declared coronavirus as an occupational disease. So I don't know why it is that they're saying only vaccinated children must go to school. Is it a disease of the schoolyard? No, it is not. It's a public health disease. It's in the public out there, but not necessarily the workplace. Like I do not have coronavirus in my home and you do not have it in your home. So let's get it straight. It's not penetrating every crevice, every corner of society. But in the public sphere of things, the government is responsible to conduct its affairs in a manner that it minimizes the risk of society. So here comes the question. Education now forms a fundamental part of our constitution. It's a right that school children are educated. A fundamental part. Check it up. It's one of those fundamental rights that was here before we became a nation.
Correct.
And shall continue after we become a nation. Education of the populace. So when we have someone saying to you, a prime minister, who is relying upon some law he make up, call it a regulation that they want to make up, telling you that the constitution must bow down to this law, something is wrong here. The constitution stands erect. It stands predominant above all other laws. Every single law must subject itself to the constitution. Every single law. So I want to see what these lawyers are doing who claim that they love law and they're bright and all kind of stuff. I want to see how much they're going to treat with this issue, because it's an issue for the law lords. And maybe we can't find much law lords these days in our country, because when people are afraid to run up against the government, when people are afraid to say it as is, then we have a compromised society. And I believe our society is heavily compromised, and people are dependent on show like these, where they get to see a real female Amazon warrior like yourself. Is that the female woman in the Amazon? They know how to put the hair in a woogie or shave it off cleaner. And when they go outside, they will see a big deer and they will kill that deer, put it on the neck and bring it home. That is pot roast when the night coming. They know about that. They know about protecting their families, the Amazon woman. But we have a situation where so much people are trying to play handsy-pansy. They don't want to get out of line. They want to be cool. They want to be accepted by the political electorate. And I'm saying no to that. They cannot challenge your children's education. You see the bars and the pleasure stuff? That even wrong too, right? We see when coming to their children's education, That's wrong. And I'm saying, Wendy, now, if I had a child who was in any of those fifth form, sixth form things, so the fourth form, I was taking my child to school, I tell you that. Unvaccinated to school and let them stop it. That would be the start of a legal battle. I would have taken my child to school, walking with him or her, and let it tell me no. Number one, they can't ask me to produce no vaccination card. I'm not producing any. Yeah? That's a substandard law. Those regulations are substandard law compared to the law of the land, which is the Constitution. That's the supreme law. They are not honoring that. There's a part in the Constitution, the fundamental rights, that says every child have a right to education and cannot be denied thereof. So that
But they can argue that the child is not being denied, but they just have to do it online.
And I'm saying to you, online education is not the same as in person, and they know that. They have made a case. They have made a very good case for in person education. And if you have made the case for in-person education, then they must make the case for everybody, not for some. The government is engaged in sponsoring discrimination. That's what the government is doing. They are sponsoring, taking state funds, taking state media, and they are sponsoring discrimination. But where are the law lords? Where are the lawyers who love law? Where are they?
I want to encourage people to do their homework, do some research. I want to get into the political future of Tobago. You are the political leader of the PDP, the Progressive Democratic Patriots. Yes. What are your plans for Tobago? I know election is coming, things have shifted, a lot is happening. What's going to happen with Tobago? And even how do you plan to strategize your foot soldiers, your people in the midst of a pandemic, etc.? And what can Tobago expect from the PDP?
That's a lot of questions. Let me check my time. Right. You have a little
you have 15 minutes.
Right. Check my time. The Progressive Democratic Patriots is a party that came out of the people. I recall when it was formed, it was the people who came up with the name.
Okay.
The people of Tobago came up with the name. We had a meeting of over 100 people, not party members. All were invited, the public was invited. That was sometime in the latter part of 2015, after I ran as an independent.
Right.
I called the people who voted for me. I said, look, come, let's come up with something. And they came up with the name Progressive Democratic Patriots. They came up with the symbol, the bamboo and the bullifay, and the hands holding the bullifay. It's a Tobago bullifay, kind of bullifay, you put the bottle and the wick and kind of stuff. They design it. It's a party of the people. It's a party by the people who represent us in Tobago under the Progressive Democratic Patriots banner. They are community people. They are not like the people you can find in the PNM. Those people operate as if they belong to the hills. And they come down once in a while and they see you, say, oh, you are Wendy? Okay, long time I didn't see you. How are you going? And then they go back up to the hills where they forget about you. Our people are on the streets. They know mommy, they know grandpa, they know tante, they know the child. We are people, we come from off the people.
Yes.
And we are for the people. We swam for the people of Tobago to get 2 new boats. They got the 2 new boats now, but the 2 new boats are already not working properly. I can say that to you. People who have driven on those boats say they get sick. They don't want to go back again. The seats are hard like jail bunkers. They are not the kind of luxury boats that we anticipated. The former boats, the Trinidad and Tobago Express and Trinidad and Tobago Spirit were far more luxurious and far more better than those 2 new boats. They're just new, guys all. You're right, you're rough. The JDVL give you a far more smoother ride. That boat is old. Old boat from France, give you a far better ride. We stood up, we walked 25 kilometers from country to town to demonstrate the lack of bus service. We did that for Tobago. We stood up and we spoke about central bank coming to Tobago rather than Tobagonians going to Trinidad to change the polymer. It happened. We spoke about that. We spoke about more flights in Tobago during the pandemic. And now the Prime Minister finally said more flights are going to come. we are representing the Tobagonians. We have moved from 0 seats in Tobago, where we won at a party, to now give Tobago 2 seats. And then we fought an election and we gave Tobago half of the seats that are currently in the, were in the assembly. It was 6 out of 12. Now we are going back to the polls again to win Tobago's confidence and represent Tobago as never as before. There's nothing we will not do to protect Tobagonians. I'm telling you, from the day we win this election, and I say we the people win this election, Tobagonians would have won. The Prime Minister cannot dictate to Tobago as he well please anymore. He knows that. He knows that he can't pass laws to Tobago as he well please. We will defy him. He can't tell us what he wants. For instance, if we were in charge of Tobago House of Assembly and we were talking about COVID, he couldn't tell us Form 4 and Form 5 alone. No. Know your place. Know your place. We would decide for ourselves in Tobago. The House of Assembly will decide, the House of Assembly, that the people elect to run their business in Tobago will decide on education, because education fall under the House of Assembly. Right? And so he can't do as he wants. We will say to him, well, okay, we have passed, we have debated it, and we have passed a motion, or we have amended our laws to allow all school children to attend school with or without vaccination. Yeah, he can't tell us he bring vaccine for us. We will determine how and when vaccine come and the methods we will use. They can't tell us the ICU full up. No, we will create places where persons could get their oxygen and healthcare, even if it's to convert certain community centers into temporary hospitals. We would do that. Tobago House of Assembly is nothing compared to what it used to be in the 1700s, when it was run by the plantocracy, was run by the white man. You know, they are forward-thinking people, right? Yeah, they are forward, aggressive kind of people. When we took over the House of Assembly in 1980, we, the peasants, we, the commoners, under A.N.R. Robinson, the House of Assembly became a shadow of what it used to be. In the House of Assembly that was created in 1976, to be House of Assembly, there was a plantocracy system that used to run the assembly. They made laws, full laws. Tobago was independent, had an independent government. They even challenged the government. Wendy, I want to tell you now, the Tobago House of Assembly voted for Napoleon Bonaparte. They voted for him to become leader for life. Because at that time, and there are records to show that, I've read the records. There are records to show that. You wouldn't hear from much people because people don't read much, but I can tell you.
True.
I've read the records. At that time when Napoleon was in charge, he had conquered Tobago. France had beaten the British and taken over Tobago. But instead of destroying the assembly, they said they will only change the governor and maintain the assembly. And so with the governor there, when he came to the assembly, all Englishmen, as assemblymen there, right? He said to them, look, I'm not going to change anything. We're going to go the same laws you have. We're going to I'm just here to change. And they found him so hospitable, so friendly, so cool. And then the next thing they did was to move a motion. He brought a motion for them to vote on Napoleon being leader for life in France, because here was a France territory. Just like Martinique and all these places, they voted Napoleon to be leader for life. And I'm saying Tobago played a role in history. When the Dutch took over here, the Colanders took over here, under King James, Tobago played a great role in the world activities. And yet they have taken the House of Assembly, brought it back, and make it like a county council. You have no powers. You only want to do everything for himself from Trinidad. No. When we take over the House of Assembly, when the PDP take over the House of Assembly, we will become an executive by Tobagonians, of Tobagonians, by Tobagonians, and for Tobagonians. He cannot run roughshod over Tobagonians. He can't tell us where to go, where to stay, or where to play. He can't tell us that. He will have to talk to the House of Assembly, and we will debate it, and let there be democracy.
Wow. We have a lot of questions coming in. Vitra Rampasad, she joined late. She wants to know what's the PSA's position if I don't want to work with unvaccinated staff? Are they fighting my case? Yes, the PSA is going to assist you. At the end of the call, I'm going to put up the link for the PSA's website so you'll be able to contact them. Maureen is saying children only start being hospitalized with the rollout of the vaccine. Wake up people, something right. She's technically reiterating what you said. Debbie, Gina, you're saying hopefully we see your question. Please repost your question because I would have to go through all the questions to get to your question concerning Tobago. So you obviously have a question concerning Tobago. Just shoot it up on the screen as we continue the conversation here with Mr. Watson Duke, my guest for this afternoon, this evening rather. Watson, how are you going to treat with the campaigning in the midst of this pandemic? If it continues, we're in a state of emergency, so we don't know what's going to take place, and it was extended. So,
well, we are meeting the people of our society. We meet them today. There was a book drive by one of my colleagues in her constituency where they're collecting books and they're giving books out, etc. We are very community oriented. We constantly go through our community delivering bread, food. We do different things.
Nice.
So we do the people. We have been able to reach the people at the point of their needs, and we'll continue to doing that. That is the biggest campaign. Long before Instagram came in, there was something called niggergram. I don't know if you know what niggergram is. Niggergram is my mouth, you know?
Yes.
And when they see a name there, that niggergram mouth, everybody know your story. It's running on the road. That's how news spread long time. When they took over France, Haiti, by those persons there, the slaves took over Haiti. Through niggergram, that spread through the entire world. There was no Facebook. There was no social media. So we still depend on niggergram a lot in Tobago, where the last customer will become the best seller of the facts. And so we treat everyone equally, everyone right. And we believe our name is going around in a pretty good place in Tobago, unlike the name of the Red Party. It's very bad. It's no.
Did the results surprise you at all when you all were successful in the last election? Was it surprising, or did you expect less, or did you expect more?
Let me say that I will not use the word surprise, but I was happy with the results.
Okay.
Right? To say I'm surprised would mean that I didn't expect to win. And everybody goes in to win. Everyone goes to win, right?
Yes.
And we hope that those persons we canvass and those who said they would vote for us would actually vote for us. But I was happy to know that people in Tobago have decided to fight back through the electoral process. And I'm hoping that they would continue to fight back through the electoral process, which is the best way for democratic change. We are not preaching guns and ammunitions and violence and that kind of stuff. We are saying, let us go to the polls and let us remove those persons who have mistreated us and abused us and denied us our basic rights. And so I was happy. I remain happy. And I'm placing my hope in the lives of every single Tobagonian. Once they come out on that day, because they are quite attuned to their own politics, they know what's going on the ground in Tobago. There's a different politics from Trinidad. They would come out, they would give us that vote, and we would create the type of country, the type of island that they long for. All of my people are on the ground, and I'm on the ground, and we will do whatever it takes to make Tobago a better island and make Tobago a contributing partner to the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago must contribute, and it has contributed, but its contribution is oftentimes referred to as north of Trinidad. Okay. That's where the oil fields are, where the gas wells are, north of Trinidad, and it's not in Tobago waters.
Well, I'm seeing you have extensive support here. They came out to support you this afternoon into this evening. So Macau, the PDP Spartans have a strong presence on social media as well. So SOE or not, the message will be sent.
You have a strong social media.
Yes, you do, because I am following you guys. I want to acknowledge the former Secretary of Health of the THA, Dr. Adriana, Dr. Carrington as well, who's on the live. And the trim.
Dr. Carrington, man.
Yes. The trims are very popular in Tobago as well. They are also here. They have so many people with so many different comments. We have a couple minutes left. What are your closing comments? What two messages I would like you to send? If send a message to the parents of Tobago for me, please. The parents, as it relates to these children and the options where education is concerned.
I want to tell the parents of Tobago children and by extension Trinidad that you have nothing to fear. Do not be forced into accepting something that you are not prepared for. You are a human being and you must be treated with intelligence and with dignity. Anything less than that is indignity and a false sense of social security. We will be standing by your side. And if I know any single parent who is denied carrying their children to school tomorrow, then come by me. Call me up, message me on the Facebook, bring the fact, we will deal with that. You take your child, your fourth form child to school, your fifth form child to school, your sixth form child to school. Both parents go with the child. Or if it both can go, you go. Go with your child and let them deny you. You video record it. That is the evidence. And let them know your video recorded and bring it to us. We will make hay, even though the sun is not shining. First, the place will get hot in Tobago.
Wow.
First, the place will get hot.
Mr. Ekran Benjamin, following the live from London, the PDP is the only way forward for democracy and positive development.
Thank you.
So you're getting some really good reviews here. And I am going to shift the screen to give you all the website. Someone is asking where can they locate you in Tobago? Where are your offices in Tobago?
Well, I'm on the ground really. I'm not really. I have offices in Roxborough and other places, but I'm.
Yeah, you're not an office man. I don't know you to be an office man. No.
I'm on the ground. I'm moving around. So you can just get me on social media, message me on social media. I would read the message.
Yes.
Or if you want, you could on the PSA website. You can join and become a member on the website. You could launch a grievance on the website. Someone will call you once you fill out the grievance form. That's the best thing to do. Go on the PSA website and fill out the grievance form. And once you do that, we will be in a position to respond to you and ensure that your issues are properly trapped and followed up upon. So
there is the website for the PSA is on the screen. And you get people from the USA, Omilchok, Cherelan. Great is the PDP. You have international support.
Thank you.
You have international support.
Something right. I want to just say hello to all the fans out there. And even the enemies of the PDP want to say we love you all because PDP is a party for everybody. We do not believe in victimization. Huh? You know, and at some point in time, you know, in past, I would say sometime in the past, you know, you feel that kind of way. You feel as if when I get in there, go deal with them. But you know, in hindsight, that was poor judgment. And I recognize people change. And even though a person may hold a particular view at a particular point in time, they are susceptible to change. And I want to say, even the prime minister, when he's out of office, he may even change his mind and recognize in hindsight that some of the moves he made were bad moves. So we must allow people to change, and we must be there for when they change to support them in the positive change they are making. And the PDP is a party that will always embrace and support positive change for Tobagonians and for Trinidadians by extension.
Wonderful. Mr. Watson Duke, my very good friend, thank you so much for joining us on Straight Talk with Wendy. This has been an amazing interview. It's going to be up and nobody's taking it down. Of course, you can watch it over from the beginning and I would upload it on YouTube. I am in contact with you. You are a phone call away. So we will definitely be in touch. I really applaud your efforts. I feel your passion for the people. I feel your passion for everything that you touch. So I want to say God bless you and may you continue to strive from strength to strength as you continue to fight for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So thank you so much and have an amazing evening. Good evening, everyone. Definitely. Bye-bye.